Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Good morning. Good freaking morning. It is September 14th, 8:45 in the morning. Yes, today is a big day. If you've been keeping track of anything that's been going on anywhere in the news, today is a big day. Well, technically, nothing will really happen today. Today is voting day for the recall election of Governor Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of California. I realize I have listeners that aren't in California, but this has been a really big deal, that this has been going on pretty much since 2020. Californians are fed up, and it's not just Republicans, of Gavin Newsom, to the point where we had a whole, recall election to recall Gavin Newsom. Started months ago, back almost a year ago, when we started signing petitions to get I don't remember exactly how it worked because it's been a long process, but let me just tell you, there had to be millions and millions of signatures. And I just want to talk about my prediction of what's going to happen. Okay. We've seen some confidence in our elections dwindle since 2020. You look around, the most popular president ever elected, President Joe Biden, with over 80 million votes, more by any president by a long shot, gets booed everywhere he goes. He showed up in Long Beach City College yesterday. I was expecting him to have a warm welcome because he's in Long Beach, in LA County, not far from LA, a Democratic, a left-wing safe haven, if you will. And I was actually very surprised when I woke up this morning and saw the amount of booing. Like when he drove up, the amount of hate that was demonstrated for this guy. And not only that, we've all seen the video circulating around at college events of people chanting, F Joe Biden. What up, Pete? Coming in YouTube. It's me and you, big guy. What do you mean, Pete? Pete stopping in on YouTube. Appreciate you coming by and dropping a comment. What does UDOW mean? Pete, capital U, capital D, capital O, capital W. We've all seen those F Joe Biden chants at sporting events, college sporting events, mind you, which colleges have been historically lately very left-leaning. And it's happened at multiple college campuses, in the student sections in particular. I'm sure other people other than student sections have, joined in, but typically the videos you see are from the student sections, probably led by frat guys or frat kings or whatever you call them, frat presidents. There's never been more controversy about our elections than now. I just don't see how Joe Biden was the most popular president. I'm not sitting here saying that there was election fraud. I'm just saying that there might have been evidence of it. Let's just recall the event. Let's just remember the events that happened of after the election. Okay, so I want everybody to remember that after the election, there was call for audits of votes. What that means is that they Republicans were calling for people to go through every single ballot and double check that the correct people voted for, you know, like the people voted legally, right? What up, Mystic? Welcome into the YouTube chat. So after the election, then the Republicans called for the audit. Democrats were anti-audit. Okay, they thought that it was undermining the election when really you're upholding the integrity of the election. I was hoping that there was no election fraud. You know what I'm saying? Republicans don't want there to be election fraud just because we lost. We want there to be no election fraud because we want the integrity of the election intact. Okay, just remember that happened. Fast forward to this recall election. Actually, let's to the recall. When we're signing the petitions, California is done as if Elder loses. What do you mean California is done? Because technically, I mean, this is a recall, Mystic. If Elder loses, California's done? You meaning like there's no hope for California? We're gonna talk about Elder in a second. I'm just going through the explaining, the kind of I'm about to explain the hypocrisies of the left for a second when it comes to this election. Keep in mind, actually no, I'm gonna say that. Okay, so once we did all these signatures for this recall election, right, which was we had to do. I don't remember the amount of signatures we needed to hold the election, the recall election. It was a few million. The Democrats decided we need to audit those signatures. Months before that, they were anti-audit because they were audit because they were worried that it was undermining the election when really it upholds the integrity of the election. Mystic, you think you mean there'll be no more hope for California if Elder does not win? I live in California right now, just out of context. I live in California right now, and there is no. I'm gonna tell you, I live in Orange County, so where I live is pretty, right leaning for the most part. I did not have a hope for California to begin with. To be honest, I really want to move back to Texas, but if Elder gets elected, I might hold off moving back to Texas for a little bit because I just want to stick around. I want to stick around and find out. You know what I mean? I'm going to talk about Elder in a second. I'm going to get there. So it's just there's some hypocrisies going on with wanting some things audited and some things not. The Democrats have been doing things to get more people to vote, which really undermines the integrity of the election, but they gaslight Republicans saying that that Republicans are being racist and xenophobic for having the correct, I don't know how you explain it, the correct steps to vote, right? You need to be a U.S. citizen. You need an ID to vote. You need to prove who you say you are, okay? I just want to talk about this for a second. This mail-in voting is so not secure. Okay, I live in Southern California. For the presidential election, I got multiple. Look, I'm about to prove it. I've already sent more back. But this ballot got sent to my house for the recall election. This person hasn't lived here in God knows how long. Okay? I have a ballot in my hand. If you're watching the video, you can see it in my hand. This is a mail-in ballot. This is what it looks like. It's sent to you. It's like, there's a little packet in here. When you open it up, I'm not going to open it because somebody else's mail. I'm not going to open it on, I mean, I should, just to show you guys what it looks like. I already sent my ballots in. The ballots were due today. I put it in the post office box yesterday morning. There's a little packet in here, then there's the ballot, and you scribble it in, and then they have another envelope that you put it in there, and you return it. You don't have to pay for stamps or anything like that. But then when you seal it on this side, when you go to mail it back, you have to sign it, and you have to sign it, you have to date it, and you have to put your address on there. Okay? Mystic, I'm going to get to your question in a second, okay? Let me just finish explaining this. Okay? Mystic and YouTube dropping some good questions. We're going to get to those questions in a second. Okay? So then when you mail this back, you just put it in a post office box, or you put it in the mailing thing or whatever. Okay? For the presidential election, I had about 7 of these. Okay? People I've never even heard of got mailed to my house. And I was honest with it. I did not vote for them. I did not open their ballots. I haven't even opened this one. I've got 2 more for the recall election. This guy, I'm pretty sure, lived here 2 people ago, but it's like 10 years ago this dude lived in my house. I've lived in this house for 3 going on 4 years. Okay? And then I got another ballot for the recall election of somebody else who lived here prior as well. The only people who should be getting ballots in this house are me and my wife. It's 2 people. But I've gotten, for the presidential election, I got about 7 ballots. For this election, I've gotten a total of, I'm looking on my account right now. I can't remember if I got 3 more or 2 more. So I've gotten a total of 4 or 5 when I should only be getting 2. The integrity of our elections with this mail-in thing is out of control, and it's probably not even. I'm gonna say this just to get rid of my, like, you know, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not gonna say it's intentional that they're trying to do fraud. There probably are, you know, intentions of trying to do this correctly. Okay. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're doing the mail-in voting just to skew elections. Okay. I'm just gonna say that there's flaws with this. And it doesn't work. So I just want there to be, but now that the Democrats aren't acknowledging it, now it makes me question their integrity with the voting systems, right? If they were to say that, hey, look, there's issues with mail-in voting. We were trying to do mail-in voting, but we see that there's issues, people getting multiple ballots at their house, then I would say, and then if they were to you know, say that, hey, that's our bad, this doesn't work, then I'd be more inclined to believe them, and I'd be more inclined to trust the elections. But the fact that they're not even, you know, acknowledging that there's issues with mail-in voting, there's issues without having to have an ID to vote. Never once did I have to show my ID for this ballot. Not a single time. I had to sign it on the back. My handwriting is absolute dog water. So if they're saying that the way that they're securing the election is by matching signatures, then I don't trust it. What's stopping me from voting for this guy? My word. What's stopping me from voting for the other ballots? Nothing. My word. That's it. There's nothing stopping me from voting for these. Mystic, I'm still going to get to your question. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get to your question. I just want to finish my thought process, because then I will forget completely what we're talking about, because I'm not very smart. Okay, so my prediction of what's going to happen with this election, for this recall election, okay? Y'all ready for this? Write this down. They say that we're supposed to have some results by early tomorrow morning. I'm going to say we're not going to have any of them. I'm going to say we're not going to get results until at least Monday of next week. Okay, maybe Friday. Maybe Friday. We're not going to get a hint of results. There's going to be an uproar. There's going to be a significant amount of people that don't trust this election. There's going to be a significant amount of people that don't trust this election, and there's going to be people calling for the votes to be audited. Okay, but remember, the Democrats are going to then, this is my prediction, the Democrats are then going to want to fight that audit. But wait a minute, didn't they just have an audit for the signatures? They sure did. There's significant issues with this mail-in voting system. Is it convenient? Absolutely. I did not have to leave my house to vote. Actually, I had to put my, well, here's an issue, is I put my ballots yesterday in my mailbox, me and my wife's. I put them in the mailbox, but guess what didn't happen? The mailman didn't pick them up. So I was worried that if he wasn't going to pick them up today, so all I did was I just drove them to the post office, to the drop box, like the mail drop box. So that's just another issue. So my prediction is that there's going to be a record turnout of votes as well. There's going to be a record turnout of local government voting. This is going to be one of the most popular votes ever in California history. Also a prediction. Is it, where am I getting this from? To be honest, I'm gathering this prediction based on what's happened in other countries. Let me explain. Venezuela, about 12 years ago, was one of the strongest economies in the planet. I think it was number 11, if I'm not mistaken. Out of all the countries, Venezuela was number 11. Fast forward a couple of years, elections were taking significantly longer to get results. Sort of like how it took a long time in 2020 to get election results, for whatever reason. The reasons are what they are. So then, Venezuela elected their socialist ruler. Fast forward to today, they're one of the poorest and the worst countries to live. I had to look up their economic stats for a class yesterday, and let me tell you, it was scary. There wasn't even a stat for the inflation rate, like a real stat, because it's just guesstimated. The unemployment is at a just stupid high. The GDP per capita is terribly low. 3 years ago, their own government was committing basically genocide on its own people. Their own government was shooting their own people. You might say that's just a one-time thing. Socialism will work. Hey, John, you can't also, we haven't done socialism, right? Hey, Belinda jumping in the Facebook chat. Hopefully they get a Republican in there. If this recall election goes as planned, this is my prediction. If, like, let's say if the recall election goes as my prediction, it's going to take a long time to get the votes. However, the hope in California is, or the hope for a lot of people in California, is that the recall election happens and he gets recalled. And as of last time I checked, Larry Elder is winning, or is like the highest in the polls. I don't know how much you trust the polls, but Larry Elder is the highest in the polls. Okay, so Larry Elder, a little bit about Larry Elder. He is basically a radio broadcast person. I believe he's written a couple books. I don't know much about him. He's a black guy, so that appeals to some people. He is a Republican. So just a little context is that this is probably the only hope that California has, is getting a Republican governor, because the last time unfortunately, California's had multiple recall elections and recalled to get the governor out of California, is when, can anybody guess? I'll give 5 seconds if somebody can comment who the replacement governor was during the last recall. I'm going to give 5 seconds. Somebody type it in. Nobody typed it in time. I'm going to give you the answer. His name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger came into office because of a recall election. Okay? So this might be the only hope that California has in getting a Republican governor, is by this recall. Okay, to answer, Belinda, yes, we want Newsom out of here. And it's not just Republicans that want Newsom out of here. Belinda dropping some bombs in the Facebook chat. It's Democrats want Newsom out, and that's why there's about 15 people, maybe like 10 people at least, on this ballot to vote in. Okay, Mystic, answer your questions. Mystic dropping in some good questions in the YouTube chat. How is the taxes in California? How high is it? How much does it take from your income? This is a complicated question even for me. Okay, so I've lived in California for about 7 years now, but 5 of those years I was in the Marine Corps. So I've never personally paid income taxes in California. The taxes are very high, but I can talk about some other taxes that I've had to deal with and some other ways that they're not quote unquote tax, but it is a tax. Okay. Anytime you pay your government money, anything, it's a tax. Okay. And how much does it take from your income? Okay, so a little bit about the taxes in California. So there is a state income tax as well as federal income tax, and you have to pay both of them. How high is the state income tax? It depends on how much money you make. It's more than zero, I can tell you that. The last time I checked, the average Californian is getting taxed based on income 46% when it's all said and done, between federal and state income tax. Okay, but let me talk about some other taxes that they don't talk about. The gas is super high in California, right? The cheapest gas in town right now for me is $4.25 a gallon for the cheapest gas at the cheapest gas station in town. $4.25 a gallon. Based on your vernacular, Mystic, I would say that you're probably not listening from the United States. So, to put that in perspective of how much it costs in Australian dollars or UK dollars, it's a lot. Okay, I don't know the exchange rate. So the California tax, the gas tax, if you will, or the gas prices. Let's talk about the gas prices for a second. It's mostly skyrocketed because of taxes. Okay, so a couple years ago, gas was at an all-time low. So what did California do? What did California decide to do? They decided, hey, since gas prices are so low, let's add a tax on the gas prices. That way we can use that money to pay for roads and bridges and whatnot. That sounds like a good idea. And then they're like, oh, we promised to take the taxes off as soon as the gas prices come back up. Okay, well, we all know that that's not true. So they added in this gas tax. And wouldn't you know it, when the gas prices came back up, the taxes remained. And in fact, on July 1st, they voted in more gas taxes. Yes, I was the United States Marine Corps. Just answering a YouTube question, a question on YouTube. So they added in more taxes on gas. So most of the price you pay on gas in California is taxes. Since the recent hike on the taxes, I'm not sure the exact amount. I can try to Google it real quick. Amount of tax on gas in California. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna pull this up just because I knew it was pretty high. I didn't know it got up to this high. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen just so you can read it too. I'm a Canadian, LMAO. I know I have no business talking about US politics, but it's fun. Can't help it. No, you can talk about politics all you want. Listen, that's the crazy thing, is that US politics is talked all around the world. How do I know? Because I've been all around the world, and US politics is talked more about than their politics. I was in Australia, and they told me more about my own politics than they could about their own politics. They didn't even know who their local officials were when I was in California. Okay, so California pumps out the highest tax rate of 62.47 cents per gallon. So every time you go to fill up on gas, so you pay $4.25. You $4.25 minus 60. Let's just say it's 62 cents. You're paying about, let me pull out a calculator, because I'm reading and I'm doing things at once. I can only do math in my head, but I'm doing too many things at once. So I'm paying $4.25. That's for the cheapest gas, minus 0.6. Let's just round it up. Let's just say 62 cents. The gas should be at $3.63, but I'm paying 62 cents per gallon. So normally gas should be $3.63, but I'm paying 62 cents per gallon. Okay, so if I have to get 32 gallons, so if I'm paying 0.62 cents, or sorry, 62 cents, not 0.62 cents, if I'm paying 62 cents a gallon for 32 gallons for my truck, I pay almost $20 just in taxes. 1984 just to be exact. I didn't even add in the decimal place for the 0.4 of a cent per gallon. Here's another way that California gets you is this freaking, okay, I got this notification in the mail that I have to register my dog. I'm not a California resident, by the way. I still have a Texas driver's license. I haven't personally paid state tax in California because I pay my taxes through Texas still because I'm a student here in California. Okay, I got a letter in the mail saying I have to register my dog. It costs like $300 a year or $150 a year to register my dog. Ain't that some bullshit? It's not. They say, oh, it's in case your dog gets lost and has to go to the pound. It's just to pay the fees. We have other taxes for that. So every year they expect me to register my dog like it's a car in California. It's stupid. It's like $150 or $300. I think it's like $300 if I don't neuter them, and then like $150 if I do neuter them. Which, by the way, I'm not going to neuter my dog. You can't convince me that neutering a male animal is better for them, for their health. Let me take away your balls and tell me how you feel. Okay. So, the taxes in California, it's not just the income tax. Now, they're going to try to also implement a tax about how much you drive. So if you live in California right now, don't tell them how many miles you drove on your tax return. They've been trying to implement it. They've been sneaky about it, right? For the past few years, you might have noticed, oh, how many miles did you drive this year? Oh, we were going to give you an incentive if you drove less amount of miles. But what they're going to do is they're trying to track how many miles you drive, and then they're going to tax you a carbon tax based on how many miles you drive. You don't believe me? Look it up. This all sounds like conspiracy theories. Like what I'm saying is just out of the norm, especially when we talk about the elections. But then you're going to see it happen. They're telling us that these election results are supposed to come in tomorrow morning. I don't see that happening. I bet we'll get them by Friday or Monday, if not longer. Mystic, I am a university student as well. I'm 21 and I already feel stressed and old. Well, I tell you, I'd rather live in California than Canada because Canada taxes are absolutely retarded. And that's not, it's just because Canada's taxes. You know, so fun fact. So everybody knows Kawhi Leonard, the NBA basketball player. Kawhi the Claw Leonard was in Toronto. Okay. He got traded to California, signed a deal with the Clippers. He technically made less money. His contract was smaller in California than in Toronto, but he takes home more money. Why? Because of taxes. Canada has no room to talk when it comes to taxes. Okay. Also, let's just talk about the totally totalitarian, not totalitarian government, but the glimpses of totalitarian government when it comes to COVID, shutting down churches, shutting down malls, re-locking down in other places not that long ago. That's just absolutely wild. That will never fly in America ever again. Yeah, Canada, Texas is retarded. You're not wrong. I know I'm not wrong, bro. I don't even know specifics. I couldn't tell you, yeah, the average Canadian gets taxed this amount exactly. No, I can't tell you that exact, but I can tell you that let's just say every Commonwealth or Commonwealth influenced country, like Canada's not a Commonwealth country, but it's definitely a Commonwealth influenced country. Like Australia is a Commonwealth country. Every country in the UK is a Commonwealth country. Those countries get taxed more than Americans do, even in the worst taxed areas. But the thing is that we have to stand our ground now, because before you know it, if we don't do anything about it, we will become those countries. Because the proof is in the pudding. Politicians, governors, government, they don't give up power. They want a temporary power because of COVID. They want a temporary tax because gas is so low. They don't give up that power. The proof is in the pudding. The taxes on gas in California, for example, still there, even when gas prices came back up. The laws after post 9/11, still in effect, even though we just left Afghanistan. Once government or once politicians or once whoever's in charge sinks their claws or dirty little claws into that power, they will not give it up. And we've gone to the point where I think we've gone a little too far to where we can't elect somebody getting elected in that one small government will just get ostracized out. I think we're beyond the point of return in America, sadly. You live in Alberta, so it's pretty conservative over there. I don't have no idea where Alberta is in Canada. I don't know much about Canada. I really don't. You probably know more about America than I do Canada. There's issues when it comes to realizing that we need, okay, like talking about government not giving up its power. It's so this weird sort of spiral effect where there's people that don't believe and don't trust our government, and then yet vote them to have more power and more authority and bigger government and more money. And then once, they've come so powerful, they're going to just push out anybody that doesn't believe. Look, this is why Bernie Sanders will never be elected Democratic primary. Because everybody turns against him. Why? Because he would defund a lot of senators. Money speaks. Money has power. You have enough of it, you can keep it. And right now we have more rich public servants than ever. We have people in our Senate right now that were born in the 40s. Our president of the United States, not that long ago, said some pretty heinous and racist stuff on television. Don't believe me? Look it up. Look up President Joe Biden. Actually, look up Joe Biden, quote, "I don't want my kids going to a racial jungle." Joe Biden voted against desegregating schools. Joe Biden was pro-segregated schools. That's how old he is. If you couldn't tell by him stammering, having dementia during his speeches, that's how old Biden is. But yet, we somehow forget because the left was so blinded by just being anti-Trump, so blinded by hate. I remember growing up, the Democrats, the liberals were supposed to be the tolerant left, the accepting, the open-minded. The left has been more closed-minded and more blinded by hate and more anti-this and anti-that than anything. It's weird that the approach to COVID has sort of flipped the parties, right? Okay, let me explain. The Democrats should be the ones that are against the man, right? Gotta fight against the man. Peace, love. I'm not gonna take that shot, man. Let's just be free spirits. And the Republicans should be the one that are pro-authority, following authority. Phone's ringing. Stop ringing. But somehow it flipped. Somehow the Democrats are pro-authority to the fact that where if you don't get a vaccine, you should never be admitted to the ICU, even if you're having a heart attack. And the Republicans are having to stand up for people's rights. That should be the first sign that some bullshittery is happening. Because bullshittery is a brewing. So what's going to happen in this recall election? I'm not sure. My vote is in. Hopefully my vote gets counted. I'm not going to talk about the rumors that's going around about the votes. I will maybe talk about them tomorrow or the next day about some rumors that are surfacing about already seeing election fraud. I'm not going to talk about it right now because I've said this before. I don't want to be the first to talk about something. I want to be the most right to talk about something. I want to have actual basis to talk about it. I'm not going to even mention what I'm hearing. I don't want their people to view what I'm saying, so I'm just not going to say it. I'm just going to wait for a couple days and see what comes up as far as potential election fraud. It's unfortunate that it's already being talked about in the election. The votes aren't even all in yet. All right, I appreciate you guys stopping in. I really do. Hey, if you're watching this video right now, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you comment, say hello, make sure you share it with your friends. Also, we're live right now. So if you're listening right now, that means you missed the live show. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Thanks for everybody who stopped in. But I upload the show, the audio, completely uncut, unedited to Anchor, which then Anchor distributes it out for me to like Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever. So if you want to listen to other episodes, make sure you, if you're watching right now, make sure you check out the Spotify, JJ's live show, or go to Anchor, JJ's live show. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the the Anchor for JJ's live show in the Facebook chat. Right there. Boom. It's right there. I'm gonna pin it to the top so y'all can see it. And hey, thanks for the questions, guys. Thanks for the inputs. I really appreciate you guys interacting with the show. Make sure you get your votes in if you're living in California, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Look, I'm not asking you to follow on all three platforms, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Just follow whichever one's gonna get you watching and involved with the show. All right, guys. Make sure if you want to check out the other episodes, like I said, JJ's live show on Spotify or Anchor, click the link. The link is up in the Facebook chat. All right, guys. I'm gonna let you guys go. Hope you guys have a good day. Until next time, catch y'all on the flippity flip. Peace. Hook 'em.